What's up, collectors? Welcome back to Films by Color. Welcome back to another episode of This Week in Physical Media, where we go over every Blu-ray 4K release that's dropping this week. Coming out tomorrow, Tuesday, April the 30th. Special day for me. April 30th is me and Grace's wedding anniversary. We'll be celebrating 8 years this year, so very exciting. Maybe we'll run out to a Walmart and look for movies. No, we probably won't do that, but there is a lot of stuff coming out this week that is very exciting, very interesting. Lots of stuff to talk about, from studios, from big studios to little boutique labels and everything in between. And I can't wait to go over all of it with you guys right now. We shoot the show every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on YouTube. If you want to join us, come out and hang out with us for an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours sometimes. Sometimes we get going on some distracting side missions, and it's a lot of fun. So feel free to come out and join us. We'd love to have you. Lots of people already filing in here in the chat. I'll go ahead and see who's here, give some shout outs. Dan's Den was the first one I saw. He is here. I think he's been here every single show. So happy to have you, Dan. Kyle Hartman, already here and already picked up several of the releases we're going to talk about this week. So I'm happy you're able to get your hands on those. Internet User is here. Henry Bidencap is here. Alden Tuttle is here. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. He is very excited for Moon Knight and Kenobi and Andor. Going to be picking up a lot of the Disney 4K Steelbooks, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Connor Nielsen here. Michael Smith is here. Gus is here early this evening, right on time. Good to see my exuberant pal Gus here in the chat. Who else? Sam Fett is here. Big Al's here. Ethan Edwards is here. And Connor Nielsen. Yeah, everybody's here. Everybody's here. I'm going to get some water to prep myself for all this talking that I'm about to have to do. And then we will jump right into the new releases. I've got my wife's Mean Girls cup that she got from going to the theater recently, because we're here to talk about Mean Girls tonight. 2 different Mean Girls are coming out this week in 4K. So yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. Switching over to monitor number 2, we've got Andor. First thing right here, not in alphabetical order, just happened to work out that way. Andor, the complete first season. Disney Plus series. Disney still putting out these Disney Plus series on 4K, which is interesting because we all know Disney is, it's such a roller coaster relationship we have with Disney and their physical media stuff. Like, I feel like they've been jerking us around like crazy. But here we go. We've got Andor, big fan favorite series. Even people who like despise Disney Star Wars are really enjoying this series, or did enjoy it. I don't know if it's going to keep going. It has a 1 on the side, which I think is a bold move and maybe a kind of a dumb move for Disney, because if they don't ever finish these, especially I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier also has a 1 on the side, which is like, is that ever going to get a sequel season? Why would they do that? That seems kind of dumb. But there you go. Complete first season, 3 discs, nice looking Steelbook. I'm not a big fan of Steelbooks, but I know that there are a lot of people that are, and I think these still looks pretty good. I think Disney's, I like that they're consistent with them. I like that they've been completely consistent across the board. Disney a lot of times isn't consistent, and they like change their packaging every 1 or 2 movies, which is kind of annoying. But this one looks pretty good. I like it. I didn't see this show. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but from people I know that like Star Wars, this is apparently one of the best. Now, these are sitting right at $56, which seems steep, but I always think of things in movie terms, so I guess that's a pretty good price for an entire season of television. 546 minutes. Not too bad, not too bad. I think that is a little pricier than the WandaVision one, though. And then how about this? We'll just start and go through all the Marvel ones, and then I'll talk to you guys, and then we will go back to some other things. So we'll jump right to Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is the 3rd one here. Same exact thing. We've got the overview. This is a Steelbook, if it lets me click on it. There we go. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the complete series. So this one doesn't have a 1 on the side, so I guess Andor is planned for more. But this one's just 2 discs, a little shorter of a series. It looks fine. The back actually looks pretty cool. I like the back. But the rest of it is not that. It's not great, but not as cool as the Andor one, in my opinion. This one is a lot cheaper, though. Well, I guess not. Its list price is $55, but it is $45 right now. on Amazon. Again, links in the description if you want to pick up any of these and help support the channel at no extra cost to yourself. Still waiting to get my first taker on that. I'm kind of curious to see what actually happens if someone buys something from one of those links, because I don't know what happens yet. But that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. You guys know about that one. I think that one was pretty polarizing. I don't think a lot of people love that one. So we got 2 Star Wars series, and then we've got 2 Marvel series coming out this week. One of them already mentioned in the chat, Moon Knight, the complete first season. Again, they're calling it the first season. I don't know if these are ever going to get sequels, but here it is. Got the 1 on the spine. This one looks pretty cool. I never got a chance to check out the show, but I like the design of it. I like the visuals. Looks pretty cool. I like the style. I like the back of it. I like that one a lot. I don't know if I'll pick it up. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but that is one of the Disney Plus shows. I wish Hawkeye had gotten a Steelbook before that one. I don't know why they jumped all the way to Moon Knight. That was like one of their last ones that they did. And then, of course, we've got Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I believe was the second series they did right after WandaVision. I did not finish this one either. I watched the first episode and hopped off, but it's pretty cool looking Steelbook. There you go. Got Falcon and Winter Soldier on the front with that crazy logo. You guys remember when they released that logo? That bananas logo that was just like such a bad logo. It's so weird. It's all over the place and it's like half. It's weird. Anyway, that is the Steelbook for Winter Soldier and the Falcon. And there you go. Complete season 4. It also says season 1 on the side for some reason, but that one's also $45 right now. So that's all you're getting. We don't usually talk about TV series on the show, but the lines are blurred so much between film and television. They're streaming series, so I'm going to talk about them. I know a lot of people will be excited about those. We've been talking about a lot of Marvel Steelbooks recently. They just released some 4K movies on Steelbook from Mondo a couple weeks back, and now we've got these extra second or third round now of Disney Plus Steelbooks. So very, very cool. I know a lot of people will be excited about those. I don't know if I'm going to pick any of those up, but I'm glad they're putting those out for people who are excited about it. Let's see if people in my audience here are excited about them. Internet user says, congrats for 8 years. Thank you. Appreciate it. Big Al 1982. Were you able to take part in the indicator sale? I was not able to take part in the indicator sale. I took part in adding things to my cart and sitting around and just thinking about it and then finally not pulling the trigger. But there were some things in there that I wanted. Just not anything in there I wanted enough that I felt like I needed to buy it right now. I feel like I can hold off on some of those things for later. I'm trying to get through some movies that I already have, so I'm trying not to add too much to that pile right now. Michael Smith. You are always drinking out of her cups. Get your own. Hey, most of them are my cups. This is the only one that's hers. The Wonka one and all those other ones that I drink out of were ones that I picked up. I don't think any of the other ones are hers. Connor Nielsen, it's quite the coincidence that Mean Girls is getting its 4K release this week. I finally got around to watching the original movie last night. What did you think? I hope you enjoyed it. Let me see what else is going on here. Connor Nielsen also says, I'm actually not picking up any of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows, not crazy about The Mandalorian, hated Obi-Wan Kenobi, and didn't watch Andor. Well, apparently that's the one to watch, man. That's what everyone tells me. I don't think I'm a big enough Star Wars fan to check it out, but that's what they say. Connor says, seems like they're dropping these every 7 months, so if their next Disney Plus physical media releases will be late November, early December, so I think Hawkeye will be released then. That's the hope. That's pretty cool. If they do that, I'll probably pick up Hawkeye. I think I would if it was not too outrageously priced. Posty Posterson, what's your go-to movie theater drink in those giant cups? I don't drink anything at the theater. These, I guess you could say these are my wife's cups because she's the one that gets a drink in them when we go to the theater. And then we just bring them home. I don't like to drink in the theater. I don't like to eat in the theater. I don't like to make any noise in the theater. So I don't like opening food, or I don't like doing anything in the theater. I just like watching the movie. But Grace, the one thing she does get every time we go to the movie is a big Coke Icy in one of these theater cups. So that's why we get these cups. But there's just water in here. I just drink water while I live stream. What else do we have here? I guess we're good. Let's jump back and see what else is coming out this week? We'll blow through a few more here. We just got to Marvel so far. The other big thing that's coming out that people are excited about, according to Blu-ray.com, are some Vinegar Syndrome releases. We've got Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, terror and horror in the same title. Slipcover and original pressing. You know the drill with Vinegar Syndrome. They always do those limited edition slips. This is a 1965 horror film with a pretty interesting looking cover here. Let's see. Suspense that claws at every fiber of body and soul. Look at that. That's promising a lot from this movie. I wonder if it lives up to that hype. But there you go. Nice short 98-minute horror film from the 1960s. That actually sounds interesting to me. If I do watch horror, I usually watch horror like pre-1960. That's usually the cutoff. I like 60s, 50s, 40s and 30s horror movies, all the way back to really to 20s, and that's pretty good. That's a 4K Ultra HD plus Blu-ray combo pack from Vinegar Syndrome. You can buy those from Amazon.com though if you can't get to Vincent for some reason, and they're doing a couple other ones here we'll get to in a second, but here it is, the big one this week. People are excited for. Look at this. It comes in a pink jewel case and everything. You've got Mean Girls, the Lindsay Lohan version, starring Tina Fey and Amanda Seyfried and a bunch of other people before they were really famous. I mean, Lindsay Lohan was already pretty famous, but look at this. You've got a slip case, slip cover, very fancy slip cover that's got like the burn book design on it, and I'll show you the back here. There it is. Just got the kisses all over it, and look at this. It comes in a Look at that. I guess I could just show you the overview picture. It comes in a pink jewel case, which is really fun. I wish you would do that more often. I have a couple. Like, I know the Grinch came in a green one, and the Incredible Hulk original release came in a green case. And I talked about it recently in my superhero video, but Birdman comes in a red one. And then randomly, Avengers Age of Ultron comes in a red jewel case for some reason. But yeah, they do that sometimes, and I think it's pretty cool. But there you go, Mean Girls. Maybe we'll have to swing out. I know my wife really likes this movie. I've only seen it once. I didn't grow up with it, so I don't really have any attachment to it. But I know she really likes it, so maybe we'll have to pick that up. I think she has an old DVD from before she met me, but maybe we can get that upgraded to 4K. What else here? So here's the other Vinegar Syndrome releases we were talking about. We've got Spectres and Maya, a 2-movie pack here from Vinegar Syndrome, and it I'm hoping is I don't know if I should click on that one. That one might not be YouTube appropriate, but 2 foreign horror films. What language? Italian. 2 Italian films, maybe giallo films. Are these considered giallo films? 1987 and 1989. I have not gotten into a lot of giallo stuff lately. The closest I think I've seen is Santa Sangre, which I just watched recently. I showed it to 2 friends of mine. Really like that movie, and it's inspired by giallo. There's a couple scenes that are inspired by giallo scenes. It's not a full giallo movie, obviously, but that's the closest I've come to it. One scene in particular is very giallo that if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you have seen the movie, by the way, because I love Santa Sangre. I just watched it again earlier this week, and I love it a lot. Singapore Sling is a Blu-ray release right here from Vinegar Syndrome, slipcover and original pressing, the whole deal. This is a 1990s film, though, so they're all over the map. They've done 60s, 80s, and now they're releasing a 90s film. There you go. You've got a lovely cover of a woman with a gag in her mouth that's actually an eyeball. Wow. Horror, erotic, serial crime, comedy, drama. It's got it all. It's got it all, but mostly horror. Mostly horror from Nikos Nicolaides. Interesting. There you go. Amazon $22.98. If you're a Vin Sin fan, that is also coming out tomorrow. All right. Real quick, we'll do one more. Let me see where we are. Okay, I'm very behind on the chat, so I'll catch up in just a minute. I will just do this last Vincent release. This isn't Vincent. Okay, cool. This is AGFA, The Last Slumber Party from 1988. Another cover that I will show, but I probably shouldn't. There you go. Where the girls are dying for a good time. Look at this. This looks, I think you know what you're getting. I think we all know why we're here for The Last Slumber Party from 1988. Clearly a horror film, very pricey. I've never bought anything from AGFA before, but $37 for just a standard Blu-ray. They're probably a pretty small label, so I understand if they need to hike their prices a little bit. But you guys have to let me know about that label in the chat. I don't know if I've even gone over AGFA on this series before. I don't think we've ever talked about them before. But The Last Slumber Party coming out from them from 1988. Lots of horror releases coming out this week. That is obviously the biggest blind spot for me in my film journey, my film watching. I know a lot of, that's probably the reason why, like, there's so many other channels doing physical media, and a lot of them cover horror. And I know most collectors are at least pretty big fans of horror. So sorry about that. I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to dip my toe into it here and there, but there's a lot I need to catch up on, so I'm way behind. What else do we have here? Dan's Den says he saw a pre-screening of The Fall Guy and had a great time. Well, that's awesome. I'm actually interested in seeing that one. I famously never see movies when they come out in theaters and have to play a lot of catch up at the end of the year, but I think we're going to try to go and see that one. We're going out of town this weekend for our anniversary, and we might try to catch that if we can. If we can get a chance to catch it, if it's a screening that fits into the schedule, we might check that one out. Alden says Andor is super depressing, so I guess that's a heads up. Dan's Den says Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, not a Hammer title, but an Amicus, a late company that didn't make it past the 70s. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Vinegar Syndrome titles are a few months old, I think, and are just now on Amazon, an internet user says. Okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense that they released their subscription titles a couple months ago, and then they wait a couple months before they put them on Amazon. That makes sense. So there's like a wide release now. Connor Nielsen, I think I'll pick up Mean Girls. I thought it was entertaining, funny, and I've been thinking about it all day. He is, of course, talking about the remake of Mean Girls that he's going to be picking up. Internet user, are you mean enough girl to actually eat and drink at the theater? Apparently not. Apparently I'm not. I'm too concerned with it. I also don't want to have to pee in the middle of a movie. That's always a concern. Dan's Den says he's seen Mean Girls too many times to count. Posty Posterson, I just used your link to pre-order Mean Girls so we can see what it does. Hey, I'm excited. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm probably gonna make like 2 cents or 1. I don't even know. That might even be too generous. But I don't know what's gonna happen. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Posty Posterson. That's awesome. Dan's Den says, he tried to make a fetch pun, but it auto-corrected to Fletch, which is even better. So I'm glad that happened. Connor Nielsen says, gotta hold off watching Santa Sangre until December. Why? Maybe, well, I don't want to tell you anything about this movie because you might think you're getting something else. Let me see. Brown Bunny's here. Good to see you. Need to watch Singapore Sling. And they like the pun there. Or it's not really a pun, it's just kind of like a play on words. Let's see. Ethan Edwards, I love great horror, but most horror, especially modern horror, is god awful. I hate the torture porn stuff. Yeah, me too. And I should stop saying that I'm like not a fan of horror, because I am. There's tons of great horror movies that I've seen. But what I guess I'm saying what you're saying right there, which is I usually don't like that kind of horror. But there's so many different genres of horror within horror that I probably should stop saying that, because I do like some horror stuff. Michael Smith, last one here. Finally saw High Tension, but I already knew the twist. Bummer. That sucks. That sucks when you're around. There's some movies that I know the twist for that I don't know if I'll ever watch. I probably still will, but I really can't blame anybody but myself. Like, it's been I still haven't seen Fight Club. I know. I haven't even seen Fight Club, but I know the twist, and I'm sure I'll still get a lot out of it from watching it. But yeah, that's another one. It's also one that's just been like tainted by film bros, and I'll get around to it eventually whenever the hype finally dies down a little bit, but I still haven't seen that one. Let's get back and talk about, speaking of film bros, I think these are kind of film bro-y movies. The Ocean's Trilogy is getting a 4K. I actually have these movies on Blu-ray. You can see it right up there. Whoa, right up there. See that big red box? That is my Ocean's Trilogy Blu-ray box set. But I don't know if I'm going to upgrade to the 4Ks. These movies are not that important to me. I've seen them, I think, all once, but I don't know if I need the 4Ks of these. It's a very cool slip. I think it looks like it's just a standard slip cover. So not a box set, not an oversized slip case or anything. It looks, from this picture, that's all I got to go on. It's just a standard slip case. With the trilogy, kind of like the Mummy movies. You saw when the Mummy movies got released in 4K, they just got one standard case. of slipcover. Maybe they didn't even get 4K. Maybe it was just Blu-ray, but the Trilogy was kind of bound up into just a really slim case, and that looks the same deal with here. I do like the artwork, though. It's pretty cool. I mean, some people don't like modern interpretations of posters. They just like the classic posters, but this is cool. It's like a playing card. One of the projects I had to do in art school was make my own playing card. This would have been much cooler if I had done this, but look at that. Oceans Trilogy. I like it. It's okay. It is kind of just like Photoshop slapped together. It's not that interesting. I wish it was kind of more artsy, more artistic, or painterly, but it's just kind of a Photoshop slap. And then there's the back of the slipcover. You've got 1, 2, 3. You've got some bonus features for each one. Looks like they all have commentaries, which is good. I've been on a commentary kick lately. I've been watching all the commentaries for all of the cinematograph releases that I've been picking up from Vinegar Syndrome. And I should tell you guys this. I just last night got a chance to go to the theater and see in the theater Andrei Tarkovsky's Andrei Rublev in its entirety, the full 3 hours. I wanted to check it out in the theater while I could for the first time without any distractions and without any pausing. So I went and saw it in the theater. Really, really liked it. Probably my favorite Tarkovsky movie I've seen. I'm not sure. I really, really like Stalker too. So it's up there with Stalker, but I want to see it again for sure to kind of cement my opinions. But I've been thinking about it all day. Got home really late last night. It started at 7. I think it went till 10:30. So had a really good time. I talked to Connor on the way home on the drive because he really loves this movie too. So it was great to talk to him about it, and really, really liked that one. And now I can open it up. I was kind of keeping it sealed just in case, I don't like to open movies until I watch them, because you never know when you might have to sell something. So I kept it sealed, but now that I've seen it and I really, really liked it, I'm going to open that up and start going through the supplements here. So very excited to dig into that film a little bit more. I recommend it if you have a chance to see Andrei Rublev. It looks like some theaters are showing it right now. Go check it out because it was a really good time. All right, so we looked at the 4K box set of all 3 of them, and then of course they all have individual releases. So this is the standard Steelbook release for Ocean's 11. They all 3 have their own Steelbooks, and they all have matching artwork, which is pretty cool. If you're a Steelbook fan, this is the inside artwork there with the whole crew, and that is the disc. Just single disc 4K Steelbooks on here. You do get a digital code though for the 4K HD. $40. Whoa, companies are really taking advantage of these Steelbooks. And they like Steelbooks? We'll put out Steelbooks and we will hike the price up insanely. So $40, even on Amazon right now. There's no sale. So yeah, that is steep. If you want to get all 3 of them, $40 each is kind of nuts. That's kind of insane. These are Warner Brothers Steelbooks. Here is the Ocean's 12 one. Like I said, matching artwork, just a different color and different artwork obviously, but it's the same kind of style. And then we also have another shot of the whole crew there. And then we have the same thing with Ocean's 13, all of them at the $40 price. There it is, Ocean's 13 overview. That one's kind of underwhelming. I think the other 2 look a little better, but it's cool. It's cool that they all match. And there's the crew again, much smaller crew in that movie. All right. So we've made it through all the Oceans. We got the Trilogy if you like slipcovers, or if you like Steelbooks and you want to shell out 3 times the amount. How much was the Trilogy? Trilogy was $56, so not quite 3 times, but a lot more if you want to get those Steelbooks. So that's kind of a bummer. We've also got an Arrow video release coming out this week. This is a 1957 film called The Tin Star, limited edition slipcover release from Arrow Video. This is a Western from 1957, black and white Western. Starring Dudley Nichols, Barney Slater, and Joel Kane. Interesting. A cynical ex-sheriff turned bounty hunter helps a young, recently appointed acting sheriff with his advice, his experience, and his gun. That reminds me of a couple different... Well, first of all, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is kind of similar to that, although he's not a sheriff in that. But another film starring the same actor, where he is the sheriff, is... what is it called? I'm never going to remember it right now, but it's a Criterion Western. I know Marlena Dietrich is in it, and I can't even think of one of my favorite actors' names right now. I'm completely drawing a blank. You know what I'm talking about. It's a Wonderful Life guy. But anyway, he is the acting sheriff in that. He's the new sheriff in town. I think it's called Dudley Rides Again? Something like that. It's a great, great Western about kind of a similar premise to this, and one of my favorite performances by him. He's really, really good in that. Why can I not? Destry Rides Again. That's what it is. Thank you guys so much. See, this is why I need you here. That's what I need to hear. You guys don't understand. Once the camera turns on and there's all this pressure to think of things, like if I was just talking to someone in a conversation, I'm sure I could have just pulled it out of nowhere. But as soon as this camera turns on, I can't even think of Jimmy Stewart. Like, what an idiot. Jimmy Stewart, one of my favorite actors of all time. Don't let my ignorance and inability to recall things deter you from watching that movie, because Destiny Rides Again is amazing. I was not expecting to love that movie as much as I was. I was kind of expecting just a small little comedy, but it was great. It's so good. So good. I gotta watch that again. Anyway, the Tin Star is coming out, and it sounds a little similar. That's where we got off on that, down that rabbit hole. And then real quickly, I'll pull up The Getaway here. Which is, that's so embarrassing. This is a Shout Factory exclusive. All kinds of boutique labels dropping stuff this week. We've already talked about Vincent and Arrow. Now we've got Shout Factory getting in on it from a 1994 film, another action crime heist movie. The Getaway. Who's in this? Anyone of note in this? Walter Hill, Amy Holden Jones, Jim Thompson. Okay, so no one I'm immediately super familiar with. Oh, but Alec Baldwin is right there on the front. Why wasn't he listed? There we go. Alec Baldwin, A Dangerous Deal, A Double Cross, and The Ultimate Setup is yet to come. I've been on a kick of kind of 90s crime movies, more so 90s like film noir movies, specifically like neo-noir stuff. I just watched, and we'll talk about this a little bit later because it is getting a standard edition release this week. But this is Red Rock West. This is the cinematograph. Did the full video on these. Thank you guys so much for the response to that video. That video was doing really well. People were really excited to see a deep dive on these. Really enjoyed this. I have watched it since I did that video and loved it a lot. Went through all the supplements. Really, really cool. Watched that with Grace. So much so, or I liked it so much that it got me in the mood to watch The Hotspot again. So I ordered this is my first release from Radiance Films. I haven't picked up any Radiance yet, but I had already seen this film and I liked it a lot. And I saw Radiance put out a release of it. That was the newest release. I think Kino had already put out a release of it in the past, but I wanted to get the newest and latest and greatest. Look at all those supplements back there. Really looking forward to getting into this. This actually just arrived today. Got it in the mail. I wanted to show this to Grace because we had such a great time with Red Rock West, which is a neo-noir from the 90s that stars, what's his name? Dustin Hoffman. And this does not star Dustin Hoffman, but he directed this film. And it's really fun. It's a really fun movie. And I wanted to watch that again. So Grace and I are going to throw that in sometime soon. Might wait till it gets a little hotter because this is kind of like famous for its hot sweatiness. Like it's a real quintessential summer film. So we'll watch that in a couple weeks here. Had to get that. And it was out of, one of the main reasons I bought it was because it's out of print. The limited edition is completely out of print on Radiance Films website, but found that on Amazon from a seller for pretty cheap. I was surprised. So that's the limited edition that comes with a booklet inside. So very excited to have that. Let me know if you've seen The Hotspot. It's a fun movie. Let's go ahead and see what people are saying. Actually, that's a good little segue here. Holy cow. Kevin House. I thought X and Pearl were pretty good modern day horrors. I've heard a lot of great things about those. A lot of people I know personally really like those. DJ, are you going to watch Challengers? Probably. That might be one that we could also see this weekend. I know that one's getting pretty rave reviews, pretty universally liked from like critics and people that I actually know in my personal life. Michael Smith, DJ, did you ever get the Svankmajer DVD collection? It is packed. No, that's one of those directors that I'm just kind of holding out hope that some boutique label will do a Blu-ray box set. But I probably should just suck it up and buy that DVD box set because there's a lot of Svankmajer stuff that I want to see. I've only seen maybe three of his films so far. And I know he didn't make that many films, so I could probably get most of it done. And a lot of shorts he did. And I'm sure that DVD collection has a lot of the shorts. So I should do that. Thank you, Michael Smith, for reminding me to do that. I should find a way to pick that up. An internet user, you are now legally required to buy Nostalgia. Yeah, I think I'm all in on Tarkovsky at this point. I think Andrei Rublev tipped me over. Like I'd seen a few Tarkovsky films. I saw Solaris. I've seen the Criterion ones, Solaris, Stalker, and Mir. But yeah, Andrei Rublev kind of cemented him as a director that I'm fascinated by, and I think I will probably go all in because he doesn't have a lot of movies either. I think he only has like 7, somewhere around there. So I gotta look more into him. Dell on Movies is here. What's up? Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Gus Grove has those Steelbooks for $29.99 each. Wow, that's much cheaper than Amazon. So go over to Grove, people. I don't have links for you. I don't think that's even possible, but Check out Grub, according to Gus. Connor Nielsen says, look, you see, they're so expensive because that Zaslav guy is all about quality. Quality over quantity. That's his motto. Posty Posterson, I got the 10 star release a week early. The scan is gorgeous. I really like the movie. Nothing makes me happier than when I blind buy delivers. That is so, you're absolutely right. I don't make enough of a big deal about that, but I used to be so anti blind buy, like in my infancy, my collector infancy. I think that's something that we all get over pretty quickly. Like, I think we all kind of start out like that. Like, I only buy movies that I love. I don't want to own it if I don't already love it. But there are so many movies out there that you can only see on physical media, and like you're depriving yourself of magnificent cinematic experiences if you only stick to movies that you've already seen, or trying to like track stuff down on streaming. There's so much stuff that you can't see. So much stuff back there that I wouldn't have been able to see if I didn't buy it on physical. So I got over that hurdle, and you're absolutely right. There's nothing better than when you like buy a Criterion release and then you just pop it in, hoping that it's good, not expecting much, and then bam, it just blows you away. It's amazing, and I think there's a little bit to it where there's a little monetary value that you give away, and you're kind of invested more. It's like, I put down my $20 during a sale, so now I'm invested. I hope that I like this, and it kind of helps. It kind of makes it even better. But sometimes it doesn't always work. You know, you can't win them all. But for the most part, Criterion has a really good batting average from things that I've blind bought from them. Dance Den, again, the 10 star, a good recommendation for people who want to see Perkins in something outside of Psycho. He had a promising career before he got pigeonholed as the Norman Bates guy. Well, I didn't know that Perkins was in that, and you just sold me on that even more, because I freaking love Anthony Perkins. I can't wait to watch the Criterion movie that just came out, the Kafka film adaptation that he was just in, that Criterion just released beginning of the year, maybe end of last year. Very excited to watch that one too, because I love Perkins, and I hate that he didn't do that much. He could have been probably one of my favorite actors too. He didn't, like you said, he got pigeonholed. Just got to the part where I was requesting people to tell me who Jimmy Stewart was. Dan's Den, never seen the Gateway remake. The original with McQueen is pretty good though. Ethan says the Gateway is terrible. The original Peck and Paw is great fun. So two recommendations for the original, but no one seems to like the remake. Let's see. Dell on Movies, the Red Rock West set looks gorgeous. Yes, it's amazing. I don't know if you saw the video I did about those releases, but all three of them look so good, and I've already ordered the fourth one, and it'll be here soon, and I'll get a video up about that one for you guys as soon as I get that one in the mail. It should be here pretty soon. I ordered it a few days ago now, but love those releases. I'm going to keep picking those up as they come out. The next one is called Touch. I'm really excited to check that one out. Should be here soon. The 90s is an underrated decade for noir. I agree. I would agree with that. And now that I've gone back and watched several noirs, like from the Criterion collection, I appreciate neo-noir a lot because I'm such a color guy. Like, I love black and white films, but you want to take a genre that I already like and then add like such cool color. Like, neo-noirs are like known for their like use of primary color. So there's a lot of reds and blues and that kind of yellow haze over everything. It's so good. So satisfying. I like it quite a bit. I'm becoming quite a fan of neo-noirs, even though I've only seen a handful, but I do want to watch more. The director of Red Rock West has a whole neo-noir trilogy that he did in the 90s. One before this one, which was called Kill Me Again or something. And then the one after this one is The Last Seduction, which I've heard great things about. Several people in the comments for this video recommended that movie to me. So I want to check out his whole trilogy from the 90s. He was a super young director. He directed this when he was like 30, wrote it with his brother. Lots of cool information on here. I'm just going through the supplements on this disc. But yeah, I love these releases. I've learned a lot about lots of things from those two releases. I haven't watched the third one yet. Really excited to dig into that one as well. Yeah, I did mean Dennis Hopper. Look at that. Dennis Hopper is what I meant, not Dustin Hoffman. Although I have been watching, we just watched The Big Lebowski. That's Dustin Hoffman, right? He's super underrated in that movie. He's great. Dan Stan says he's going to see Challengers tomorrow. Here we go. Yes, I think I'm caught up. Oh, Gus got his Touch today. Well, lucky you, sir. Hopefully I get mine tomorrow then, because I ordered mine, like I said, a few days ago. All right. Let's get back to the new releases. I've been talking for a long time. You guys are very active today. Really appreciate the conversation in the stream. What do we got here? Animation Night in Canada. What the heck is this? This is from Canadian International Pictures, 1965 to 1985. Animation Night in Canada, Volume 1. Is this a animation like collection? This seems interesting. This is a sub-label of, maybe not a sub-label, a partner label of Vinegar Syndrome, slipcover and original pressing. Long celebrated for its groundbreaking achievements in animation, the National Film Board of Canada has earned international acclaim and dozens of Oscar nominations for its animated shorts. During a particularly fertile period between 65 and 85, the NFB, played an instrumental role in the medium's rapid evolution. Interesting. So this is a lot of important animation from the 80s. Wow, from the 60s to the 80s. Volume 1 features 14 Oscar-nominated classics with style and personality to spare. Yes, this is amazing. I'm always complaining about boutique labels not putting out enough animation. Deaf Crocodile has been like the single label that's been putting so much effort into animation, and I love them for it, and I wish I could pick up more of them. Speaking of, Vinegar Syndrome has they've canceled they're not upping their contract with Vinegar Syndrome, so all of those are going to be not available on there anymore. I think they're switching over to Diabolique for their distribution, and they kind of threw shade. I don't think they did it intentionally, but if you follow Deaf Crocodile on Instagram, they made a post that was like, why give you a flimsy little slipcover when we can give you a full-on hard oversized slipcase? And they showed the artwork for their upcoming release, that the first one that's coming out from Diabolique and not distributed through Vinegar Syndrome, and it sounded like a shot at Vincent, and there were some comments about it too, but they kind of walked it back and were like, oh, we didn't mean it that way. But it was really funny. So yeah, their releases are switching over from the Vinegar Syndrome style slipcases to these big, nice art slipcases that come out on the side. Kind of similar to, I don't have any over here, I guess kind of similar to the Arrow releases like this. Not this thick though, but they are a little thicker than the slipcovers and hard, which is awesome. I love Deaf Crocodile. Hopefully that doesn't affect the prices too much. But this is awesome. This is volume 1 of Oscar-nominated animated shorts. I'm actually really interested in this. I'm going to have to bookmark this and check this out on Vincent's website after this. I had no idea this was coming out. Vinegar Syndrome keeps dropping these new series, cinematograph releases, and now it looks like Canadian International Pictures is starting a whole new line of animation, which looks awesome. I got to check that out. Thank you, Blu-ray.com, for letting me know about that. Now, here we go. We've got, so some of the things coming out this week are a lot of re-releases, and I'm not like an expert on what has already been released. I think Basket Case has already been released, and this is like a re-release from Arrow, but Basket Case is getting a 4K Blu-ray combo pack. Actually, is it a combo pack? Yeah. So this is definitely, I've seen this in stores. I don't know if this is just re-releasing that in the same packaging, or if this is like a new limited edition packaging, but it is getting released. Whether it's a re-release or not, you can find Basket Case, hopefully in your Barnes & Noble. My Barnes & Noble is super slim with their Arrow releases, but it's getting a 4K limited edition slipcover. There you go, $50, you can get Basket Case. 1982, lots of 80s films coming out this week. Let's do 2 more here, and then I'll talk to you guys in the chat. Deaf Crocodile Films just talked about you guys. Look at this. This is World War III. And I think someone had just talked about this movie to me in the comments section. I think it was a limited edition release, and now this is just the standard edition release. Yeah, someone vehemently recommended this movie in the comments. Apparently this is a fantastic film that kind of blew them away. It's in Persian is the language for this film. It's a 2022 film. But there you go, a Deaf Crocodile standard edition release. If you missed the slipcover and original pressing, then you can check out this release for it, cheaper if you're not a big slipcover guy. And then Dogfight. We've got Criterion's film coming out this week. Criterion way down on the list. Usually Criterion's up to the top of the popularity list, but this week they're down here, all the way down here. Dogfight's getting a Blu-ray from 1991. This is one that was announced a couple months ago, and I heard nothing but great things. A lot of fans very excited to check this one out. This is like a very unorthodox love story from 1991. Is it shot in black and white? It is not shot in black and white. That's just the cover. Interesting. Yeah, I looked it up when this came out. I had not heard of it before that, and it sounds pretty interesting. I'll probably get it eventually. I'm not dying to grab it right when it comes out, but holy crap, I know who that guy is. Look at that. That's the guy from what did we just watch recently with him? I wanted to say Weekend at Bernie's. It's not Weekend at Bernie's. It's the other one. It's the other one. My Cousin Vinny. He's in My Cousin Vinny. There he is. I don't remember his name. He's also Rachel's husband in Friends. But yeah, that looks like a fun movie to watch. Looking forward to checking that one out eventually down the line. I've got so many Criterions on my wish list for July. I don't know how I'm going to squeeze them all in. I'm going to have to start saving up now. What else do we got here? Posty Posterson. Kill Me Again is very silly, but a ton of fun. It's definitely the odd man out of that trilogy. The Last Seduction is excellent, very sexy. Yeah, I'll probably check out The Last Seduction first, but I would like to track his career through the 90s, even if that one isn't as good as the other two. Big Lebowski is Jeff Bridges. Yeah, I know. Jeez, you guys, gosh, give me some credit. I know who stars in the Big Lebowski. I was talking about the other guy who's the kind of butler of Mr. Lebowski. Kevin House, another pre-Psycho Perkins film, and it's 1958's The Matchmaker, a comedy later musicalized by Hello Dolly. It also stars Shirley Booth as Dolly. Wow, Shirley MacLaine and Robert Morse. Interesting. Kevin House always has great recommendations. Thank you for that. And I love me some Perkins. Hey, here we go. Excuse me. Jeziel? Is it Jesiel? Rodriguez, I love your channel and your passion for film and collecting. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate the kind words. Thanks for popping into the stream. Thanks for watching the videos. Means a lot to me. Yeah, I mean, this channel is always just been about my passion for collecting and my journey as I get a little bit more acquainted with film. No expert, but I do get that comment a lot, is that people just appreciate the passion that I have. So thanks. I don't know. I'm just being myself, but glad you enjoyed the videos. Dan's Den says Basket Case is a good one. Dan's Den. Oh, people are just saying bye to some people that are hopping off. Gus says it's Basket Case 4K upgrade. Okay, so we've already had the Blu-ray, and that is the 4K upgrade. Bailey Walsh. Dogfight is one of the Criterion titles I am for sure getting during a sale this year. It's my favorite River Phoenix film, though I think My Own Private Idaho is his best performance. Yeah, that's another actor that I need to get more acquainted with. I am not super familiar with River Phoenix either. I know he had a short career, but yeah, that one seems interesting. Like I said, I will check it out eventually. Ethan Edwards, other Perkins film you should check out is Pretty Poison and Fear Strikes Out. And then he gives me a winky face, so I'm guessing that those are probably not movies that I will enjoy. And because it's Ethan. always appreciate Ethan's presence. We have that was genuine. That sounded really sarcastic. I didn't mean it to. There's the Blu-ray releases of all the Marvel Steelbooks as well. I'm not going to open all those because they're exactly the same. They just have Blu-rays inside of them instead of 4Ks. So there you go. If you don't want to shell out the extra money for the 4K and just want to pay $40 for the Steelbooks from Disney Plus series, you can grab those. You've got Andor and Obi-Wan and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Moon Knight. All those have Blu-ray releases as well. Then we've also got a re-release of Madam Web. Speaking of Steelbooks that I don't really like the look of, there's Madam Web's Steelbook. That's the 4K Steelbook. I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago, but it looks like it's getting another pressing. Same with a lot of things here. That's why I grabbed some of these releases back here. I grabbed Welcome to Red Rock because Red Rock is getting another pressing of standard releases. So if you missed this incredible packaging with the Digibook and the slipcase and everything, and you don't want to pay absorbent amounts of money on eBay to find yourself a copy, you can just get the standard copy. If you don't care about the packaging, go ahead and grab the standard copy. It's going to have all the same supplements. It's going to have the great restoration from a 4K scan. It's all going to be the same. You're just going to get it in a simple clear case, and it's only $25 on Vinegar Syndrome's website right now, so you can check that one out. We're also getting a standard release of... There's a lot of stuff coming on here. We're getting a standard release of Barbarella from Arrow Video. There you go, just a clear case. Again, I recommend, if you can get your hands on it, the awesome deluxe 4K limited edition case. This is even bigger than the normal cases that they do from Arrow. I think I did a video on this when it came out, but like, there's the disc, and then the booklet is super thick on this one. It's about the same size as the case itself. I don't know if I did a video on this or not. I think I did, but there you go. Look at that. this is awesome. But if you don't, if you missed that when it was in stores, I don't know if it's out of print or not yet, but whether it's out of print or not, they are releasing a standard edition of the same movie, same supplements. Everything's probably the same except for the packaging, and that is $40 right now on Amazon.com. I recommend that movie. That movie's a ton of fun. I have never seen really anything like it. I did watch Flash Gordon recently, which was similar to it, but it was not as fun as Barbarella. Barbarella is just something else. And then we're also getting the Conan movies, also standard releases with just clear cases. Again, I'm a broken record, but I recommend you try to hunt down the big limited edition box set because I love this one. Did a video on this one as well. Looks awesome, but yeah, if you don't want to shell out the extra money for that, you got standard editions. Everyone can be happy. Everyone can get what they like. So I wanted to bring those out and show you guys those because we are getting a lot of re-releases this week, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because we've already talked about them a while back, but let's go into a couple other new releases. Something I did want to touch on is Radiance Films. We just talked about Radiance Films because I got my first one, the hotspot right there. And we've got two releases from Radiance Films. We've got The Shape of the Night Blu-ray. It's a 1964 Japanese film, which is a crime drama. I've noticed Radiance Films loves their crime dramas. I was looking through their site. I was thinking about doing like a separate, like my first Radiance Films order. Now that I have one, I was actually going to do like a proper order from their website. And I was looking through the whole collection. There's a lot of crime films, a lot of crime dramas, especially more recent crime dramas. I was looking at Mississippi Mermaid and actually one we just talked about last week, Trinquet Lao Quen, also got a release from Radiance Films, like coinciding like day and date with the actual release of the film. So that was pretty cool. And I'm thinking about getting that one as well. But this is The Shape of the Night, a Japanese crime drama. Amid all of their other crime dramas that they've been putting out. Don't know too much about that one, but it is a 1964 film. It's very short and looks like a pretty cool release. Radiance Films, I love their packaging. They do a lot of great artwork, and they're always limited to 3,000 copies. If you want to get that limited edition set with the booklet inside, and then afterwards, I think they'll probably put out a standard edition. But you know me, I love my limited editions. I love my booklets. And then the other one coming out from Radiance Films, I'm actually very interested in, and I think this would be in my first Radiance haul if I do end up doing that. This is Misunderstood, a Blu-ray Italian film. This is a foreign drama, like no bells and whistles, not like super exciting. There's no genre to this or like fantasy or any kind of elements to this. This is just a straightforward drama, but I love films that explore childhood, and this seems like a very cool one. Andrew's Bravefront convinces his father that he is unaffected by his mother's death. Playmate and protector of his little brother Miles, he is often blamed when mischief goes wrong. Only when tragedy strikes does his father recognize Andrew's true qualities. So seems like a very serious film, probably a very depressing film, but I something about films about childhood, I guess because even before I had small children, there's something about childhood films that really resonated with me. So I'm excited to check out Misunderstood. I think that's definitely going to be a blind buy from Radiance for me. Plus, it's a 60s film. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. It sounds great. It sounds like a perfect film for me. So pretty cool things coming out from Radiance. They're always constantly putting stuff out all over the place. They don't really have like a set style or genre that they like to stick with. They just put out anything they feel like it. So I'm excited to dig more into that label. I only have one from them so far, but those look really cool. And I specifically want to check out Misunderstood very, very soon. All right, what else do we got over here? People saying, people recommending River Phoenix film. Dan Sten says, still haven't entered Madam's Web. Yeah, I haven't either, and I probably never will. Let me see. What else are people saying? People still talking about Perkins films. Brown Bunny says Barbarella is very OOP. Okay, so I'm out of the loop on this one. I got mine like day one, so I didn't keep up with it. But apparently that one sold out real quick. So it's good they're releasing a standard edition. You guys can pick that one up if you missed the original. Jar Jar Ed is here. Welcome Ed. He pops in with about, we're about 50 minutes in, so we're making good time. Welcome to the stream, Jar Jar Ed. Marcus Heyman, still have the Barbarella theme in my head from watching it months ago. The music in that movie is so great, and I'm bummed that, so one of the special features on here is I can't even view it, but one of the special features on here is an all score track, so you can watch the movie with just the score. but it cuts out all the licensed music, which is used so much that it kind of makes it pointless because there's so many scenes of just silence when you're trying to watch the score track. So I wish they would have made one with, I don't know if they could get the rights to it or whatever. I don't know what the deal is with that, but if they were going to do an all audio track with no words, they should have at least tried to include the music, because like the big opening scene, the famous opening scene that's like amazing, and there's no music, it's just silence because there's no score in that scene. So that was kind of a bummer. I actually was looking forward to that, and I put it in. Right after we finished the movie, I watched it again I put it on again with like, because I want to listen to the score by itself, because the score is really good. There's just too many scenes that don't have any score in them though. Jar Jar Ed, I'm counting down the days to The Crow coming out in 4K. Got that pre-ordered and cannot wait. Yeah, that just was announced, and it looks like a really nice release. So we'll be talking about that in a few months when it comes out. Ethan Edwards, all right, childhood films. Get the Boy with the Green Hair on Warner Archive and King of the Hill on Criterion. King of the Hill, I've not heard of that one. I'll have to check that one out. Thank you for that. You know, a Criterion that I really want to check out and I'm going to be picking up in July is, of course, I'm not going to be able to remember the name. Something Fish. Rumblefish. Rumblefish is one that I really want to check out. It's another film about adolescence, kind of similar, not vaguely similar, because I just watched Little Darlings from Cinematograph, loved it, and there's a lot of similarities because that's another film about adolescence from the male perspective instead of the female perspective, and it also stars Matt Dillon, who was in Little Darlings, the second Cinematograph release, and Nicolas Cage, who's in the first Cinematograph release, and then Nicolas Cage, who's in the second Cinematograph release. So a lot of similarities there. Plus, people have been telling me to check out Rumblefish for a while. It's kind of got like I've been told it's kind of got like a parable, like fairy tale-esque like structure to it, and it's kind of pulling from that kind of storytelling. So I'm excited to check that one out. I know it's not fantasy or anything. It's just a standard tale, but like a morality tale that I'm excited to check out. So that's going to be on my short list for July when that sale rolls around. Jar Jar Ed says films about childhood are fascinating because it is rarely represented on film, and a lot of people's childhoods were ruined by traumatic events. There is so much story potential. Yeah, there's so much. I feel like there's so much that we can glean from our childhood, like through our entire life. And I like the filmmakers that really kind of focus on that. Like Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite filmmakers. And when he's doing his best work, I feel like he's really focusing on that. Like Pan's Labyrinth. Posty Posterson, I'm tempted by any 60s Japanese movie. The quality of the photograph and the film in Japan in the 60s is unmatched. I also need to catch up. I need to catch up on Japanese films. There's a lot. Big AI loves my shirt. Thank you. This was a Christmas gift from Grace a couple years ago. She got me 2 of the Criterion shirts, and I wish I had got more because they sold out pretty quick. And I wanted to get some of the other colors. They had some pretty cool colors. Gus, King of the Hill is great. Rumblefish bored me. LOL. Oh no, that's not good. Well, there's been lots of Criterion movies that I've seen that people have told me were boring, and I ended up really liking. So I am checking out that one. Sorry you didn't like it, Gus. Bailey Walsh coming in with the book knowledge as always. Rumblefish is based on a book by S.E. Hinton, who wrote The Outsiders. I had heard that. I actually did know that much about it. I don't know much else about it, so don't say anything else. I want to go in as blind as I can. Kevin House says 1949's The Window and 1953's Little Fugitive also are excellent films about children. Cool. I'll have to mark those down as well. Thank you guys for all of the recommendations. Let's go ahead and get back and see how many of these we can get through in the next few minutes here. We've got Story of a Junkie from 1985 getting a release from Vinegar Syndrome. Looks like a standard release. Oh no, there is a slip. So there is a slip for that one as well. That is a 1985 film, a documentary. It's like a music documentary. Is it a music documentary? Oh no, it's not a music documentary. Just a regular old documentary. Then we're also getting the new Mean Girls, which we haven't even talked about yet. I've not seen this. I told you my wife went to see it because she picked up this cup when she went to see it. I don't think she was the big fan. No, I think she was. I don't know. I think she liked it, but it wasn't like amazing or anything. But she really likes the original. So that is getting a release, 4K and 4K digital. It's way down on the list. That's unfortunate. Brand new movie all the way down here at the bottom. We've got Starting Over from Kino Lorber. I thought we were going to make it 1 week without Kino Lorber releases, but we're not. Here it is. Kino Lorber. Burt Reynolds, Jill Clayburgh, and Candice Bergen in Starting Over. Look at this. This is like a rom-com. We got a simple looking rom-com release here from Kino Lorber. Let me see what this is all about. 1979, starring Burt Reynolds. A little rom-com here from 79. Haven't heard of this one. That's pretty cool. Starting Over from Kino Lorber. We'll see if Kino Lorber is dropping anything else. They usually don't drop things in by themselves. They usually drop it in pairs or threes at least. We've got a Shout Factory exclusive release, only available on their website. This is limited to 1,620 copies. What a low number. That's super low. That's really low. So this is a drama called Death and the Maiden, a Roman Polanski film. Interesting. Good on you, Shout Factory, for releasing that. What do we got here? What do we got? Yeah, this is a drama mystery thriller film from Roman Polanski, a 1994 film. Lots of 90s stuff we're talking about this evening. The year after Red Rock West. So interesting. Standard edition of Madam Web 4K is coming out right there. Simple edition. And then we've got Karate Contra Mafia, which is a lot of words that don't seem to make any kind of a sentence together. But man, did I play the heck out of Contra with my dad when he was little, or when I was little. My dad, I wasn't around. My dad played so much Contra 1 and 2 on the NES when he was a kid, and then Contra 3 was on the SNES, and we used to play that all the time together because he was reliving his childhood, I guess. And now I played Mario with my kid. But yeah, Contra 3 was crazy. You get the gun, you get the flamethrower like the 3, like the spread, or the flamethrower like circle gun. Crazy. This is coming out from Pulse Video, which I'm assuming is a partner label of Vincent because looks very similar to those releases. 1981 foreign martial arts action film. There you go. I don't actually know what Contra means outside of the game, but there you go. Karate Contra Mafia. And then we've got The Scavengers from Severin Films. Severin Films, like I said, I just rewatched Santa Sangre, which is a beautiful box set. I should do a video on that because it's such a nice release. It's got like 4 discs, including the soundtrack. So that was my big Severin release that I bought recently, so we could watch that. But there we go. We've got Scavengers coming out from Severin. Sleeper. Don't sleep on Severin Films. They put out some really good releases. Here we go. We've got the Scavengers, a stark, naked picture that leaves its guts hanging out. So it looks like a very raw, rough, violent Western film from 1969. Interesting. Very, very early for this kind of Western, this kind of deconstructed Western. But there you go. Scavengers coming out from Severin. Also available on Amazon. Most of this stuff is available on Amazon, but support the local labels, websites if you can. Here we go. We've got another Kino Lorber coming out. I knew it wasn't going to be just one. 80th anniversary edition of Bluebeard. Wow. 80th anniversary edition. To Love Him Meant Death. Whoa, we got a little womanizer here from 1944. Bluebeard getting a Blu-ray release. This is a horror thriller crime story from 1944. Fascinating. I'm actually really interested in this. A killer of young women dubbed Bluebeard is loose in Paris. Lucille and her friends meet Gaston Morel, a puppeteer. Ooh, that's creepy. That's cool. I like that. He invites them to show the next night. They go. Afterwards, he walks. This is just giving the whole synopsis of the movie. He walks with Lucille. She offers to make costumes for his next show. He accepts. And feelings develop that may lead... I feel like I'm reading the young adult novelization of this. She suspects he has a tragic past. Meanwhile, his leaving the show with Lucille prompts the jealousy of Renee, Gaston's sometimes lover. Lucille's younger sister, Francine, comes back to Paris. Her boyfriend is in the spectral... Wow, this is spoiling everything. I'm going to stop reading this now. But Bluebeard sounds really cool. 1944 horror film. Sign me up. That sounds great. I love the cover art. It's pretty cool. It's kind of similar to the cover art for Heaven Can Wait that Criterion did. A lot of floating heads in those old 40s and 50s posters back in the day. That was kind of the style for a little bit. Now we come full circle. We do a lot of floating heads. Magnolia Pictures is dropping The Promised Land. This is a 127-minute foreign biopic from 2023. Brand new release. The story of Ludwig Collin, who performed his lifelong dream to make the Heath bring him wealth and honor. Interesting. Have not heard of that. That's completely off my radar. And then we've got Lola here from Severin Films, another Severin Films release. It is just a Blu-ray, even though it's in a black case. This is a sci-fi war film. Very interesting. Very interesting. What is that about? 1940. Thom and Mars have built a machine, Lola, that can intercept radio and TV broadcasts from the future. That sounds really cool. I'm going to mark that one down. We'll have to add that one to the Amazon wishlist at the end of this. Available on Amazon for $21. And then last one here I'll do, because I got to get back to you guys. Scalper Blu-ray release. This is slipcover and original pressing. A 2023 brand new horror film from a sub-label of Vinegar Syndrome called Dark Star Pictures. Also available on Amazon right now. So there you go. Lots of stuff coming out. Let's see what people are talking about over here. Jar Jar Ed, I hope one day Stargate gets a 4K release. Between the one location desert shooting and the Egyptian themed science fiction sets, it would look gorgeous. Yeah, there's so many studio films that you would love to see. I think that would be a perfect Arrow release, probably. But there's a lot of studio films that I think Arrow would put out amazing releases for if the studios would just agree to let them have the rights. Stan's Den Death and The Maiden. Polanski is the last person who have been making a movie about that subject matter. Joshua LeBur, I'm excited about the Shout announcements today. Well, at least storytelling. I haven't seen those yet. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll have to check that out after the stream. I can't keep up. There's so many announcements. I can't keep up with everything. I try to follow as many as I can. Ethan Edwards' Death and The Maiden felt like a filmed play. Haven't seen it in about 25 years, though. Okay, that could be a bummer sometimes when it's like, why is this a movie? You could have just, done it as a stage play. Brown Bunny, Contra means against in opposition to. Okay. Thanks for that. That makes sense. Ethan Edwards, speaking of 1969 Westerns, I can't believe The Wild Bunch hasn't gotten a 4K yet. Interesting. There's a lot of stuff. There's so many things that you would think would get releases, but there's so many labels doing it nowadays that it's bound to happen at some point. Bailey Walsh says, I love the Bluebeard tale. Bluebeard, always interesting to see John Carradine starring in a movie that isn't some Z-grade feature where they shot his scenes in a separate room. Also an Edgar G. Ulmer joint. Good grief. Dan's Den pulling stuff out of thin air. How do you know that, sir? W.I. Watch Guy, when my friends and I used to play Contra on Nintendo, we called that gun the spreader. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Because I think when you pick, at least in Contra 3, that's what it was called by that point, because that's what it's called when you can see it laying on the ground. Ethan Edwards says Bluebeard is probably the second most famous film by Ulmer, who directed Detour. Okay, that's very cool. Jar Jar Ed, the only studio to have not given up and give most of their catalog to boutique labels is Paramount and Sony. I don't see it as giving up. I guess, giving up and making their own money off of physical media, I guess is what you mean. But no, if someone's already doing really great work, just let them do it. Let them put out your movies in the bed. Don't fix it if it ain't broke, man. Just give it to Arrow. But yeah, Paramount is putting out good stuff. Also, I mean, Sony's doing good stuff as well. There's other studios. Warner Brothers does good stuff, especially with their Warner Archive line. So you got some people hanging in there. Watch Guy, did you discuss The Gateway yet? Haven't seen it since back in the day, but I recall it being pretty good. We did discuss the Gateway remake. Some people in the chat were not a fan of the Gateway remake. Some people hadn't seen it, but the consensus seemed to be that the original was pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let's jump back and see the last few things we have to talk about here. Like I said, a lot of new re-releases. There's also a standard edition of Basket Case 4K that we already talked about. A third film from Severin Films that's coming out is a 1989 horror film. So 2 horror films and 1 sci-fi film from Severin this week. We've got it's a supernatural horror film called The Church 4K. Sounds pretty interesting. 1989. A cool little logo there with a little like demon guy on the church. This is a Dario Argento film. I don't know if he directed it. It says presents. I think it's just produced it, probably. Yeah. Just produced it, but that's still hopefully he was involved in some form. He's a fan favorite, especially from places like Severin Films, and I think Arrow puts out some of his stuff as well. But there you go. $45 right now. The Church 4K release from Severin Films. Then we've got Rebel coming out from Yellow Veil Pictures, a partner label of Vinegar Syndrome, a partner label that I have 2 releases from. I only have 2 releases from them. They put out really good stuff, though, and they have solid slipcovers. That's a pretty cool slipcover. Rebel, this has got to be a new film. What is this from? Yes, 2022. Yellow Veil puts out a lot of contemporary films, but They also put out some older stuff, which is what I got. I picked up a couple older films that they put out. But there you go. There's a foreign thriller. What is this from? It says all the languages are in English, so I can't see where this film is from. But it says it's a foreign thriller and a war action film and a drama. So a lot going on there. That is Rebel from 2022. We already talked about Conan. We did not talk about Ninja Terminator. I definitely would have remembered that. And I don't even know what this label is. It's Neon Eagle Video. What an amazing name. Craziest label name I've ever heard. Neon Eagle Video is putting out Ninja Terminator, another crazy name, and it looks like a big, nice deluxe Arrow video style slipcase box set, probably limited edition. Let's see here, 1985. Yeah, very limited. 2,500 copies is all they're doing for this, but it also includes the uninvited guest of the Star Ferry. What are these titles? These titles are insane. Ninja Terminator and Uninvited Guest of the Star Ferry, 2 movies you get on this release from Neon Eagle Video. This is the shortest synopsis I've ever seen for Ninja Terminator. 3 martial arts students search for the Golden Ninja Warrior, a statue reputed to have magic powers. That was a weird way to say that, but wow. What more could you want? That's all you need. That's literally like the log line is basically the entire synopsis. So yeah. Ninjas fighting over a ninja statue so they can get magic powers. That sounds pretty amazing, actually. Is that an 80s film? 85. Wow. I'm going to have to tell my friend John about this. John Malahai, friend of the channel, writer of summer movies for Turner Classic Movies. He is writing another book right now about the 80s. That's actually why I invited him over and showed him Santa Sangre, because he had never seen it. And you got to put some Jodorowsky in your 80s book. And that's his only 80s movie, actually. So Ninja Terminator, we've been watching a lot of 80s films, actually. He's been over here quite a few times. We watched the Conan films together. We watched Santa Sangre. I showed him Dragon Slayer. We've been watching a lot of fantasy stuff. That's why we watched Flash Gordon. We've been knocking out a lot of the campy 80s stuff. So maybe we'll have to see if we can watch Ninja Terminator together. I'll have to check Videodrome, which is a video rental store here in Atlanta, and they usually get all the cool boutique stuff, and you can rent them for pretty cheap, which is pretty awesome. I'll have to put Ninja Terminator on the list. That should be a good time. Time of Molting is getting a Blu-ray release from Decanalog? Wow, another label I've never heard of. That is a brand new film from 2020. This is the week that we get all the partner labels of Vinegar Syndrome. So there's all this stuff dumped on me, and most of it we don't even know what it is. But I do want to run through it briefly in case anyone's interested. Like that animation release from Canada, I had no idea that was coming out. So there's still good things that come out of this, even if I have no idea what most of it is. United States of Insanity is getting a Blu-ray release from ETR Media, another partner label from Vinegar Syndrome, which looks like a clown horror documentary music. I don't know what the heck this is. It's a music documentary. Okay, I see what this is. That's not a horror film. Those are very specific clowns. What else do we have here? A couple other Vincent releases. The Sect 4K release, another Severin film release. Severin dropping a ton of stuff this week. 4 films so far from Severin. There's The Sect. Wow, that's a creepy looking vulture bird. The Devil's Daughter seems to be the other name for that release. So good job, Severin. Hanging in there, dropping a lot of stuff. And then I do want to get into these. We'll do the Kino Lorber release real quick, and then I want to get into the Oscilloscope Labs films, because one of those I'm actually really interested in. And I saw it was up for pre-order like a long time ago. True Love is getting a Kino release from Blu-ray, or a Blu-ray release from Kino. True Love. True Love. Here we go. We've got 1989, another rom-com. 2 rom-coms from Kino Lorber this week. That seems to be the theme from Kino. Very cheap. This is just a Blu-ray release, so it's only $18 on Amazon right now. There you go. A nice little short 100-minute film, a 100-minute rom-com called True Love. Know nothing about that one, but good job, Kino, for mixing it up. And then I'm going to go down here and jump into the Oscilloscope Laboratories films. But first, let's see what people are saying in the chat. Kind of keep this stream alive here. Posty Posterson. Paramount Presents seems to be making an effort recently with the upcoming Chinatown and Once Upon a Time in the West releases. Yes, Paramount Presents. I love that line. And I haven't bought any of them. They put out those nice Paramount Presents releases. Obviously, the one I want the most is, what's it called? We just talked about it earlier. Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, but I think that one's already out of print. I think I may have waited too long on that one. But there's another one starring Danny Kaye that I really want to get. The Jester or the It's something like that. He plays a jester in like medieval times. And I love Danny Kaye. Dan's Den. Speaking of Danny, Dan's Den, in case you were wondering, the reason I know a lot of stuff is because I do extensive research. I was wondering, and that doesn't tell me anything. Where do you do your research? What sources do you use? Jar Jar Ed, it would be so nice if Warner Brothers let their archive label handle all their 4K releases. They actually put in effort and include special features, unlike the main Warner Brothers 4K team. Yeah, Warner Archive's great. I really like Warner Archive, but yeah, they've got two different teams. No, I didn't. Josh LeBure, did you get your touch set from Cinematograph yet? No, I didn't. I talked about this earlier. It's ordered. It's on the way. I think it's shipped. I haven't received it yet. But you've already got yours. Watching it after the stream. I didn't pre-order it, so maybe that's why you guys are getting it before me. I ordered it like a couple days after it came out. So that's on me, but I will hopefully be getting it soon. I've already purchased it. Internet user, have you and John seen Risky Business? If not, maybe you can pick it up in July for the sale. I'm sure John has. John's seen tons of things. John's old. He's not old, but he's older than me, and he's been watching movies for a lot longer than me. He's been watching the Oscars and every movie for the Oscars since like I was 5. So he's way more educated than me, and he's seen a lot of stuff. So I'm sure he's seen that, but he might want to rewatch it for his 80s book. That could be good. Josh says Decalogue is great. They put out a documentary called Sepa, Our Lord of Miracles. Sepa, Our Lord of Miracles. That was incredible. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, I hadn't heard of that label, but that sounds interesting. And he says the Sect was not my favorite. Went to the Alamo to see it. Okay. So maybe don't check out this one, but he's about to shout out something that we're about to talk about here. He says, I saw Gods of Mexico at a festival in 2022. It's unlike anything I've seen. It's so beautiful. Thank you for the perfect segue, because that's one of the ones I wanted to talk about here. Oscilloscope Labs, if you haven't seen it, check out my video. I think it's called I Started Collecting a New Label or something. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I started collecting Oscilloscope Labs on the suggestion of my commenters. Thank you guys so much in the comments for all of your great suggestions. You are the reason that I started collecting Cinematograph. You're the reason that I started collecting Oscilloscope Labs. I get so many great recommendations from you guys, and I really appreciate it. Probably the main reason I do this is I get recommendations out of it. They're releasing 2 films this week. Love Life is getting a Blu-ray release. Oscilloscope Labs puts out a lot of like current films from like now, like 2022. This is a 2022 movie about Teiko and her husband Jiro are living a peaceful existence with son Keita. A tragic accident brings the boy's father Park back into her life. Taiko throws herself into helping this deaf and homeless man to cope with pain and guilt. Interesting. So a very serious drama from Japan. I have not heard of that one, but I really have liked the few Oscilloscope Labs films that I've seen. They seem to be pretty good at curating films to what they want to put out. And then the other one here that was already mentioned, this is the one I'm really interested in, Gods of Mexico. Back when I made my first Oscilloscope Labs sale haul video, when I made my first order from them, this was available for pre-order, and I almost pre-ordered it, but I decided to go with something else that I could already watch, and I figured I would pick this one up later. So Gods of Mexico, and there's another one that came out a couple weeks ago that also seemed really, really interesting to me. Speaking of films about childhood. So yeah, I'm excited to pick both of these up. I will probably get them from their site directly instead of Amazon, because it doesn't look like there's any kind of discount, and I'd rather support their small label. But yeah, this is crazy because I've heard nothing but great things about Gods of Mexico. I keep hearing like it's this insane film like nothing you've ever seen, but it's a documentary. Like, that's cool when you can hear that about a documentary. It follows a resistance to modernization in rural Mexico. It's a reminder that it is still possible to live in tune with our essence as human beings. So a documentary that has got that much hype around it has got me very excited, and it looks beautiful. Like, if you watch the trailer on YouTube, the cinematography looks incredible. So I'm excited to check out Gods of Mexico. Hopefully I can get that one pretty soon. We got a standard Blu-ray release of the Mean Girls 2024 remake, which has already got a 4K release. There's the Blu-ray, and then Ordinary Angels is getting a Blu-ray release from Lionsgate Films, which is another 2024 release. So we're getting far enough into 2024 that some of the January releases are getting their physical media releases at this point. I think most of this is also re-releases. Witness is getting a standard edition release that got the big limited edition a few months ago. So we're right to the point where all of those, Barbarella and Conan, are getting their standard releases. So finished. That's what we did. Wow, we got through everything. That was a lot of stuff, and I'm surprised my voice has held out. But thank you guys so much for hanging in there. We'll talk for a few more minutes here. We've got about 15 minutes, and that'll get us to a nice even hour and a half. So feel free to put anything in the chat, any questions, any topics of conversation, or any recommendations, and we'll talk for about 15 more minutes here. Thank you guys so much. Let me know if you guys have seen Gods of Mexico or any other Oscilloscope Labs releases that you would recommend. And let me know if there are any Radiance films that you would recommend, because like I said, I'm thinking about putting together my first order from Radiance and doing a video about those. So highly, I would love some highly recommended films from Radiance. There's a lot of stuff. They kind of go all over the place. So I need someone to focus me a little bit and direct me, so I don't have to, so I know where to look. But I know there's a lot of straight stuff, and I'm sure I'll be happy with whatever I pick up from them. But I do want a little bit of help with that. Dan's Den, people saying The Court Jester. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier. The Court Jester, the Danny Kaye film. Dan's Den says he looks at articles, reads books, and a lot of his own videos are always derailed because I can't find enough information. Yeah, I would love to do more kind of research style videos. The Criterion Corner is, I guess, the closest I get to that. Those podcasts that we shoot, Connor and I, about Criterion movies. I really, really love doing those. I love diving into all the supplements before we talk about those, and just learning as much about the movie as I can. I've been doing that more and more lately, and I kind of want to continue doing that, not just for Criterion, but for like any movie I watch. I want to try to like hit the supplements as well, slow down, not go through as many films, and just kind of like take my time and live with the film for a couple days, if not a week. That's what I've been doing with the cinematograph releases, and it's been really rewarding and interesting, learning about, the 80s and 90s, 70s decades that I'm not immediately or very well versed in. So that's been a lot of fun. Joshua LeBure. I also really loved Love Life, but it's heartbreaking. Okay, so a little bittersweet, but probably a little bit more sweet. Patrick Williams, how about The Fresh 1994 movie? Imprint Films is releasing that in late June, July. I have not taken the plunge into Imprint. There's so many labels, like I say all the time, there's just too many labels to collect. But I haven't bought any Imprint films. That's out of Australia, right? Am I right about that? Am I completely making that up? I know Umbrella's out of Australia, but I thought Imprint was too. But no, I have not. I've been like, I think it's Imprint that is doing those like volumed sets of like classic adventure films that I'm really interested in, but they're already on like volume 3, and I saw the announcement for it, and I've already missed volume 2, and they're like way out of print, like super limited. So that's kind of a bummer, but I'm interested in checking out some Imprint releases. Have not heard of The Fresh though, but 1994, just watched a movie from then. Red Rock West. Kevin House, thanks for your oscilloscope video. I ordered Lost in Paris and loved it. Thanks for that. I also ordered Lost in Paris. I didn't talk about it on the channel, but we did watch it a few days ago. Not a few days ago, a few weeks ago now. Grace and I watched that one together. I would recommend it as kind of how it was recommended to me as like kind of a Wes Anderson style. It's directed by a husband and wife couple that do all their movies together, and similar to Wes Anderson, but not visually. Actually, very visually akin to Wes Anderson in the beginning of the film, but then it kind of goes to Paris, and it's just kind of a lot more naturalistic in the filmmaking for most of the movie. But the humor is similar to Wes Anderson, so if you like that, I wouldn't say it was like exactly the same, but it is similar. But it is a little more. It's like how Wes Anderson goes real goofy sometimes. Like it's like the goofier side of Wes Anderson, I think, where like, yeah, there's some parts that really take me, like French Dispatch. A French Dispatch where like he's in the prison and he's in the wheelchair and he's like flying at him, and then like someone sticks their foot out and the wheelchair just goes like fly, like that would never happen. Like it just flies up in the air like a stop motion paper wheelchair. Sometimes Wes Anderson does that with his humor. Like sometimes he goes way over the top. I feel like it's not that crazy. Like they don't do like special effects and stuff, but I feel like that's a little more on that side. And it's similar to, I would consider it similar to Jacques Tati. There's a lot of Tati scenes. So a little bit of Wes Anderson, a little bit of Jacques Tati, French kind of rom-com, comedy of errors, kind of awkward humor type thing. There's a lot in there. I can't really describe it but it was fun. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it as well. It takes place in Paris. There's some like extended scenes, especially with one of the characters. There's a homeless guy in it who doesn't really speak that much, and he kind of just does like silent comedy. He's definitely pulling from Jacques Tati. He has to be, because it's very similar. So yeah, I recommend Lost in Paris. It didn't blow me away, but I liked it enough and found it charming enough that I'll hold on to that release and maybe check it out again someday. Let's see. Jar Jar Ed, the 90s Flash TV series should get a Blu-ray release. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I've never seen that show. But I guess that would be a cool release. Warner Brothers not really doing great stuff with their TV. I don't know if they would ever do that at this point. We have to leave it up to the great and powerful Zaslav. Posty Posterson, Radiance films Messiah of Evil and Red Sun are both great. World Noir Volume 1 is a fantastic box set. All 3 of the movies are bangers. Yeah, they've put out lots of box sets, actually. One of the box sets I'm looking forward to most, and I want to get before it goes out of print, I need to hurry up and do it, is the Italian Comedies box set by the same director of Il Sorpasso, which is in the Criterion Collection. So I really want to get that box set. But yeah, they're pricey, and you do have to pay a lot of shipping because it's a UK company. I've pulled up their site here and I'm looking at it right now, but they've done some cool stuff, and I feel like they just started and they've already got like so many spine numbers. They're killing it. They got so much stuff coming out. I'm already way behind. I wish I had been able to keep up with them a little bit more, but the prices aren't too bad. They're £15, which comes out to about $22. I'm not sure. I don't know the conversion, but I looked it up and it wasn't too bad. I'm thinking about just maybe doing like one order of like around $100, get like 3 or 4 things. Hopefully that can happen soon. Internet user says, for Radiance, check out The Sting of Death. It's from 1990. I will look that one up because, like I said, I've been watching a lot of 90s films lately. I don't know if that's a crime film, but it kind of sounds like a crime film. Sting of Death. But yeah, what was that one? Mississippi Mermaid was one that because my wife loves crime stuff, and so that one seemed like it was kind of made for her. So I'm thinking about maybe getting that one. Let's see. Internet user says Sting of Death. Bailey Walsh. It's only available in standard edition from Radiance, but I love Welcome to the Dollhouse, one of my favorite films. I was upset it didn't get the LE, and I didn't get the LE in time. Okay, so that one's already out of print. Interesting. Yeah, another thing about Radiance is like it's so new and it's a UK company, so these don't show up on eBay, or at least not yet. There's not that many releases that I've seen. Like if I look up Radiance films on eBay, like not a lot of stuff comes up, and if it does, it's like really expensive. Another box set that they released here is this. Look at this. This looks awesome. Planet of the Vampires. Look at that. Doesn't that look awesome? I don't know if I'll like it, but the box set looks incredible. That looks really, really cool. But yeah, they've got a lot of great stuff. I guess this just turned into an ad for Radiance, but there's Misunderstood, which I really want to pick up. And then there's Trenkelauquen right there, which I am very interested in. That's like a full-on 2-part epic crime story, also about a woman disappearing. So I think my wife will like that one as well. So I'm thinking about picking up Misunderstood and that one, and maybe Mississippi Mermaid, maybe the Italian box set. There's another box set, the Bounty Hunter trilogy they just put out. So tons of stuff. I'm hesitant to I'm always hesitant to jump into the deep end with another label, because once I do, I just want to keep going. Like the same thing I did with Criterion. I just want to keep going with it, but I can't just keep. I'm spreading myself too thin between all these labels. Internet user Mississippi Mermaid from Francois Truffaut. Yeah, that one's on my radar already. Thank you for that endorsement of that film, because that's one I've actually been thinking about. So that's really cool. Joshua LeBure, I was blown away by Twilight from Arbalos and String of Death from Radiance. Arbalos, yes, another label that I only have a few titles from, but I'll have to check out Twilight. Put that on the short list maybe. I've heard of Twilight, actually. I think I know what you're talking about when you say that. Brown Bunny did order the Planet of the Vampires months ago, and it still doesn't come out in over a month. Ugh. Oh, is it still for pre-order? Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that. Sorry, you're still waiting for that one. Hopefully it comes soon. What else do we have here? Dan's Den says Planet of the Vampires, Abava, I still haven't seen. Oh, there we go. We finally have stumped Dan's Den. So maybe you got to pick up that release. I don't know if Dan's Den collects physical media. I think I don't know if you have physical media or not. You have to let me know. What the heck are you watching me for if you don't? Michael Smith, make sure you are subscribed to their newsletter before you order. You get a discount. Also, if you make a very big order, you get free shipping. £250, I think. Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, because I like to do that every time I'm shopping on these boutique sites. I want to see what their limit is. I think Vincent is like $100. So I like put as much stuff in my cart until it says I have free shipping. And I did it. I found that out the hard way because I did it. I had to like keep adding stuff to my Radiance cart until it got free shipping, and it was $250. So I was like, holy, yeah, that's too much. I can't do that much, especially with the July sale coming up for Criterion. I got to save up a little bit for that. But that's cool that they give you free shipping. But whew, $250. That is steep, very steep. Bailey Walsh says, I had it in my cart, speaking of the one that went out of print, for a few days, but it went out of stock before I completed an order. It's one of their first releases, so I didn't realize the limited availability. Oh, that sucks. That's happened to me before. That's definitely happened to me before, and it's a bummer. Dan Stent says he occasionally collects physical media, but have to be specific given my current wallet. Oh, I hear you, man. I definitely hear you. This channel has helped out a little bit with picking up some physical media releases, but yeah, still not to the point where I can be just willy-nilly with my physical media purchases. I still have to be very specific and, like you said, selective of what I can pick up. But I'm thinking about doing a Radiance order, and thank you guys so much for the recommendations. Thank you guys so much for joining me this evening as we go through all of the releases. Pretty good week, pretty solid week. Some cool boutique releases. It's always nice when Vinegar Syndrome dumps all their stuff at once, beefs up the stream a little bit. But unfortunately, like I said, it is a lot of stuff that none of us are very familiar with. But it's cool to learn about new things, and that I'm gonna come away with it with that animation release from Canada. I gotta look more into that. Look more into those 2 Radiance releases. What else was really interesting from this evening? We've got Ninja Terminator, which I'm kind of kidding, but I kind of also want to look into that. And then there were some cool Kino Lorber releases that came out. And of course, we have the 4Ks of the Oceans trilogy and then Mean Girls. So a pretty solid release, a little bit of everything. Some studio releases, some comedies, and then some very serious films as well. So we kind of covered the gamut this evening. Thank you guys so much for popping in. One more here from Michael Smith. DJ, your house is on fire and you can only grab one release. What is it? Okay, taking out... This is hypothetical. Okay, so I'm taking out the fact that I have a wife and 2 kids that I would obviously go to first, and I would not be thinking about physical media if my house was actually on fire. But this is hypothetical. And my wife and kids are already out of the house, and I'm in my office for some reason, and I can only grab... You said what? I can only grab one release? What is it? Oh, man. So, do I go with, like... I don't know what you're getting at here. Do you want me to pick, like, my favorite movie? Or I wouldn't do that because, like, I can get that easily. I'd probably grab, like, my most expensive release. Something that was worth a lot. Brown Bunny says wife plus kids, 4th on the list. Yeah, so this is 4th. But let's see. You said you can only grab one release. It's not going to be an interesting answer, but I would probably grab one of my Eric Romer sets because those are like very, very like of the things I have. Those are the most valuable. Like the 4 season set goes for like over $300, almost $400, and the Eric Romer complete limited edition set from Aero Academy is like, yeah, over $200 too. So I'd probably grab one of those. Especially also because that's like the most bang for your buck. Like that's a lot of films, especially the Aero Academy one is 10 films. Also the Bergman set is up there. That's like 30 plus films. So that would be good. Oh man, that's a terrible question. Why would you do that with me? I can only grab one film or one release. That's nuts. Like the Disney treasures are gone. All of my super rare, expensive Disney treasures are just gone in this fire. This is the saddest question I've ever got. The Third Man, gone from Criterion. All of the out of print Criterions are gone. All of the three Harryhausen box sets are gone. This is horrible. All of my I don't want to think about this anymore, but I guess I'm going with Eric Romer. My boy Eric Romer. He's never let me he's never let me down so far. So I'll grab him, and maybe he can cheer me up after weeping about my entire house burning to the ground. Very, very sad. Dan Sten says nightmare question. I agree. Don't do this to me again. Give me, like, at least if you're gonna ask me that question, give me like 10, or at least like what can I fit in my hands or something. Give me something. Well, just one. I have one film. I don't even know what I would do in that situation. Would I do that? Like, would I collect physical media again? Like, would you guys start over from scratch? That would be so sad. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe I would get some insurance money from insurance, but I don't know if they would give me, unless I specifically insured my collection, like Iron Shack says right here. So maybe I could rebuy some of it if I do that, but I don't know, man. That would be really hard to get back on the horse after I lose all of it at once. I would definitely be very selective after that. I think I would only pick up like super important, like rare things at that point, because starting from scratch would just kill me. That'd be so sad. Luckily there's a window right here in my office, so maybe I could just start like chucking things out the window in that. No, I don't endorse that. Get out of the house if your house is on fire. Don't worry about material things, but it would be very tough to I want to think about it. Let's see. Internet user says Romer thanks you. He's a cool guy. If you haven't seen it, there's a video on YouTube talking about his like top 10 films of all time. He did the Sight and Sound poll. Like, this was way back in the 60s. So there was only like not that many decades of film. But it's really cool. I love his taste in film, and I kind of want to make my way through his Sight and Sound poll. Patrick Williams says that he would grab his Blade Runner 2049 4K Steelbook and Blade Runner Blu-ray Steelbook. So yeah, at least he can grab two things. You got two hands. Watch Guy says, LOL, great question. Plenty of things I'd grab before physical media. Yeah, seriously. But it'd be down to my Paramount Presents Big Lebowski or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Steelbook. Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like that would be it. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that has a lot of meaning to me that's not necessarily like super valuable that I'd want to grab too. Kevin House says, I think Michael scarred you for life. An internet user, just shove the Criterion shelf out the window. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, or at least like, yeah, just grab one shelf and just throw the whole thing out. But yeah, I'm going to have to move the trampoline. Now I'm going to have nightmares about this. I'm going to have to move the trampoline like right down there below, like outside my window in case this ever happens. Anyway, great question. Thank you for ending us on that question, Michael Smith. Really appreciate it, and appreciate all of the interaction with the chat this evening. Had a lot of fun talking to you guys. And yeah, we will do this again next week. You know the routine. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we talk about all the new releases. Thank you guys who joined us this week. If you're watching after the fact, please leave a comment so I can talk to you guys down there as well. If you can't make the live chat because you're in another time zone, or you just can't stay up late and you want to just, I know a lot of people do watch these like in the morning on their way to work the next day, which is great. The replay is always there if you want to watch it. Thank you guys so much for that. Talk to you in the comments after the fact. I've got another video probably dropping either tomorrow or maybe the next day. Grace and I filmed a video together a couple nights ago over the weekend. It was our top 10 musicals, and we did it in a draft style. So instead of having our own separate lists that we didn't talk about and then like having a bunch of crossover, because that's always awkward when you're like doing a list with somebody and you have to, and there's always this like, oh, how do we talk about it? Like, do we talk about it when he has it on his list or when she has it on her list? So we just cut all that out and we did it draft style where we had all of our musicals and we picked our top 10, kind of like it was a kickball game in elementary school, and we each got 10 different films. We were happy with the list we ended up with, and we recorded that video, and that'll be coming out very, very soon. I'm almost done editing that one, and I can't wait to get that out for you guys. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you in the comments of that video. Thank you guys all for watching, and until next time, keep collecting, and I'll be back with another video real soon.